All right. So thank y'all so much for joining me this evening. This is just going to be conversation about the video that we just watched, and it's a free-for-all. The only thing I ask is that we respect each other and we do not speak over each other. And I'm gonna ask Jay to lead us because his faces when he was watching that video, I wish I would have recorded your reactions. They were
that was
so
rough.
entertaining.
That was rough to watch. I mean,
Yeah.
first of all, I put money on Nick Cannon already beat. I couldn't say Nick Cannon beat. I'll put whatever.
What did you say?
I'll put the house on Nick Cannon beat. Put the house on it. I mean, I liked her. I thought she talked a little bit too much and didn't let him, so ask the question, not let him get to it. And I disagree with her as far as, I get what she said about fleeing, and fleeing is bad. It is hard for her to have the conversation unless she grew up arguing with women, because I don't care what anybody says, I've argued with women, and cooler heads prevail. Everybody's taught that. Cooler heads prevail. So if you're on 10, I'm on 10, that's not going to work. So he said, I walk away. And I have no issue with that, because if you're both emotionally mature, we might have had a conversation. But if you're both emotionally mature, why are we both on 10? So walking away, fleeing, I don't necessarily agree that's a bad thing, because cooler heads prevail.
So I agree with you that I think that taking a step away is sometimes a positive thing, giving a breather. He was using it as
pause for 1 second, Emily. Please put your camera, I mean your on mute if you're not speaking. Thank you. Thank you.
So I was saying that I agree with you. Taking a step away is a good thing. It can give a little bit of space until you're both level-headed. You can come back and have a conversation. However, he was using it as a tool of manipulation, talking about, oh, I want them to miss me, and then daddy's home. I don't think that he's doing it the same way that we're talking about.
No, that was time frame. No, I hear what you're saying, but that was more time frame, because she was saying when you come back. So he could come back in an hour, a day, but he was saying I'm gonna stay longer for those reasons. Which, I mean, if it works, it works. But at the end of the day, all I'm saying is I don't think fleeing is bad, because I've experienced, once they both escalate, no good comes from it.
Well, I got something to say. So why do we teach our kids, or we teach anybody else, that you don't run from or hide from your problems? You face your problems head on. I think most of us are parents on this call. Why do we tell our kids that? But yet you think fleeing in a relationship situation is a positive?
It depends what you mean. When you tell your kids fleeing from your problems, it depends what you mean.
Well, they're talking about an issue that they're having, right? A relationship issue. Why not sit there and talk about it or address it head on? Why do you have to flee from it? Why do you have to run from it and wait 2 to 3 days for it to come? Because when you hold that type of situation over, that information, I mean, it's just soaking in you, right? You're still stewing, you're still brewing. And I mean, it's just almost like drinking alcohol. You try to drink alcohol to let your problems go away, right? But when you wake up in the morning, they're still there. At some point, you are going to have that conversation. I mean, as adults in a relationship situation, you're supposed to not allow yourself to go to bed if you're angry with each other, right? You're supposed to address that conversation. Why run from it and let it go 2-3 days? Because that gives your mind time to wonder, time to think about alternate things. Why not step into that situation and address it head on?
So let me ask you a question. So first, I mean, I don't know if I agree with. I don't think you should wait 2 or 3 days. You know your spouse, your business partner, so you just give them time to cool off. So the time frame, I don't know. My question is, I'm just asking. You come up on a scene, you have 2 individuals screaming at each other. What do y'all typically say? Man, calm down, right? I'm just asking.
No.
Yes.
Negative. I never say, ma'am, calm down, or ma'am, relax, or anything of that nature. I pull the individuals apart to the side and then obviously get to the root cause of whatever the issue is.
But can you get to the root cause if they're yelling and screaming?
No, it's not possible. It's not possible.
So you have to wait till they calm down.
And that's a problem then in itself, right? Why are you yelling and screaming at another adult? You can ask Amanda on here. Her and I have never yelled, nor have we ever screamed at each other.
So,
And we've been together for going on 20, we've been together for 24 years.
Can I?
Okay. What
I
about
should've said
this?
before-
What about
before we get too far, let's make sure we're all on the same page. Amanda and Bowie are not examples.
No,
that we
you
can
can't
use.
do that. You can't, Jay,
They're
you
not
can't do that.
examples we use.
But you
These
can't,
are fucking
do,
unicorns.
you
These are
can't, but you can't do that.
Yeah,
You
we
can't
can.
do that because
I'm trying to be realistic.
we're two
I'm
human
trying to-
beings. We're two
Kind
human
how
beings.
about-
Kind of sort of.
And we
Okay,
have a
hold on.
That's debatable.
legitimate,
Don't
Y'all
get
yelling
me
now.
wrong.
legitimate
That's debatable.
relationship.
That's debatable.
We have a legitimate relationship.
Just context. Anytime you hear Amanda and Bowie as an example, just throw it out. Just watch them go.
That's not the way. That's
Okay,
not the way to do it. Because
But
I'm just doing
how
what we are.
about this? How about this, right? We know English is a dangerous language. The word they use, fleeing. What if we change that word? You change that word to a lesser. You say you step away from the argument. Because we all know arguing ain't good. Let's not use the word fleeing. Let's use a different word. Because fleeing is a negative word by itself. If you change that word, it sounds a lot better. That's the first thing. The second thing is she had him uncomfortable in his seating arrangement. He was not comfortable. She definitely had the power over him. If you look at the video, he fidgeted in his seat because he was uncomfortable how he was sitting. He was crouched down, more like he was lesser than. Another thing that caught my attention, they throwing around this word mental illness. That's nothing to be thrown around because you're emotional. We all know you can control your emotions. You could definitely control that. I didn't like how they put them two words or them two contexts together.
Terry, did they say mental illness or mental health?
Sorry, mental health.
Because I think there's a difference between the two.
Yes. It's definitely a difference. But they try to, like, okay, if you upset, that's mental health. No, you upset. You can control that. Don't flee. Step away from a situation and then come back to it. Not 3 or 4 days like Rashad is saying. Come back to it. When all parties come down, because a lot of times, if you're arguing, something is said that the other party will never forget.
Hello. I wanted to say thank you, Amanda, first for having this for us. Wow, that was a lot. You could read. First of all, this is Nick's show. He put this on, so however he's staged or sitting or whatever, I feel that this is your show. So I'm gonna sit however you place me. I don't think that was predetermined. Nick was very uncomfortable. It was hard to watch him squirm and laugh and joke at some very serious and powerful things that she was saying. I pray that he's able to go back and really digest the meal that she provided for him, because even I'm not even there, and there was times I was like, wow, I was blown away. I think that Amanda and Bowie are an example of the two high functioning, emotional, stable individuals who can have hard conversations. As a nurse, I have very hard conversations. I believe in having hard conversations with people, especially people I love. It's necessary. There's times that your feelings and your emotions as a human being do get away from you, especially when you believe that you want your point to be heard and your side. But I don't think you guys are unicorns. I think you're the exact example of what she's speaking of. This is how two high functioning people communicate. Yeah, you might have to step away for a second. I don't know. But you come right back to it because we're having this conversation. Or maybe I don't have the answer. That's allowed. But you're not allowed to just be like, oh, this too heated. Oh, you yelling like, oh, I'll be back. I'm gonna take a drive down the block. Nah, bro. Like we gonna sit here. Like you need me to you wanna hug? Like, I don't know what to tell you, but we gonna iron this out. So it was tough, but man, Nick got a lot of self-work to do.
I love the word when you say conversation. That's perfect. If they were using the word argument, conversation is two people talking. Arguments can't get you nowhere in this world. If you arguing and they arguing, nobody's hearing each other. We're just speaking. But if you having like the word you use, conversation, if you're having a conversation, then you're able to hear him, you're able to hear you.
But what did she say? High functioning individuals. So a high functioning person won't even see if I come in and you on 10, I don't see you arguing with me. I see you in a vulnerable, broken place right now. You're upset about something. Like, all right, let's remember. Let me bring you back, or you bring me back. Because that's what two high functioning people but remember is, hey babe, you off your axis right now. Hey, oh, who you talking? Hold on. Ooh. Hold on, I almost went there with you. You know what I'm saying? Because you know that they're not perfect. I'm not perfect, but I am willing to allow you to see me vulnerable and to allow you to express yourself. If it may be yelling, it may be some cuss words in there. I mean, I've been there. But I think that's what she just kept on pressing for him. High functioning, and living it, doing the work. Not just because it's going to display in the way you communicate with your children, your boss. When you get the crackers out here, I don't know if it's, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to play out everywhere you go. It's a lifestyle.
Really like what she talked about with we attract people of the caliber and vibration that we're on. And when we see things, the things that drive us crazy in other people are the things that we also already have in ourselves and we don't like it. And so it drives us even more crazy when we see it in other people. And so when, like somebody's like super emotional, well, we super emotional too, but we try to hide it. We try to like run away from it. We try to we try to swing the pendulum to the opposite end and shut it down, which is why it drives us so crazy when somebody is like that. So yeah, just like that, attracting when just people are a reflection of who we are, and the things that drive us crazy in other people are the things that also drive us crazy about ourselves.
And I thought about like when I used to date a different caliber of men, or I've had men say to me, now I might not even have my ring on, right? And I'll say, "Oh, I'm married," and they'll say, "I knew you was married. I could tell you was married. I could tell that you were this or that." And I'm like, "What? How can you tell?" Because I don't fit what I used to feel some type of way if I went out and no one hollered at me. But then as I matured, I realized it's because they know they're not on my level. I'm not missing nothing. What's for me is for me. I'm not attracting that dirt.
And I feel like Cat Williams told us a long time ago that when we running around here talking about niggas ain't shit, we need to check our own. What is it about your stuff that is attracting no shit niggas? Like Cat Williams told us that a long time ago. Just throw that out there. This gonna be on Facebook. They gonna see me say these words.
I do plan on sharing it, but we'll talk about that.
Okay. Too late now. No, too late.
I did not sign a disclosure.
So unprofessional.
Some other thoughts.
She got in her emotions.
It was a direct quote.
I think Terry.
Did you ever think you'd quote Cat Williams, like, for real?
I think Terry made a really good point when he said if you change the word from fleeing to stepping away or whatever other language you want to use, because I do agree with what Dr. Bryant said as far as fleeing is sabotaging. And it is, in a sense, because it doesn't solve the issue. For him, he was using the example of, well, if you've gone long enough, they're just going to be glad to see you whenever you return. But she countered that with, yeah, but the problem has not been solved. So at some point, you're still going to have to deal with that issue. Stepping away is different than fleeing, in my opinion, because sometimes you are at a 10. If you're both at a 10, nobody's listening and nobody can hear what's really going on. And you're not going to be able to come to any type of resolution. And that's when you do need to step away. And sometimes we'll even practice that in our work, go to the waiting room, open a magazine, just take 10 minutes. You just got to get to a place where you can just calm down. And then when you both been leveled down to a 5, then we can have this conversation. But that's stepping away. And what we like to teach people is, if you are going to step away, typically, I don't know why it's this way, and they say opposites attract, so maybe that's the truth, but typically you have somebody in the relationship who needs to talk about it right now. They're a quick processor and they just got to get it done. And then you're going to have the other one who needs time. So y'all are going to have to communicate. So if the one that needs time says, I need to step away, it's their responsibility to say, I need some time to think about this, but I'll be back in about 20 minutes, we can finish this conversation. Or at dinner tonight, let's resume this conversation, so that the person who's ready and on go at least has in their mind when the resolution is going to come, because the person has now shared with them, we're going to talk about this at this time. So I think there's a great difference between that stepping away and fleeing. He's just running from whatever the issue is, and he has no intention of solving it, because that's what he's been taught to do from the individuals in his life.
I have a quick question. Do you think it's a coincidence that every female that spoke was in agreement that you stay in it and you let it go until it goes too far, then you walk away? I haven't heard any guy on here say the same thing. So what I'm saying is, every female on here isn't used to arguing with females. So if you're not doing that, or you don't have any practice doing that, I'm not saying you can't speak from it, but yeah, kind of, sort of. But I have not heard one guy on here say, yes, I'm arguing with my girl. And I'm like, listen, I'm going to need 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and I'm going to be back. I'm going to go read a magazine, because that's not reality.
I did hear a guy here say, though, you shouldn't be arguing. And I said, I did hear a guy on here say, but you shouldn't be arguing. And I think that's the greater point.
I agree, but once it's there, then what?
What, once the argument is there?
Yes, ma'am.
It takes two to argue. So if you're where you need to be, right? If you're on that high frequency.
So actually, it does not take two to argue. It does not take two to argue, because I have seen many women argue themselves. It does not take two to argue, 100%.
I really don't want to be dealing with those women.
We have zero control over the other person. We can try, we can do, but in a lot of situations, the mental maturity, the emotional maturity is different. We just saw it on stage. You saw on stage who was more emotionally intelligent. 100%. It was night and day. She was cowering over him, literally. But what I'm saying is, so we don't have these perfect scenarios. So we can both go to 10, or he said, I'm a flee. I agree with them. Again, the time frame of how long we want to flee, that's subjective. I mean, it's whatever. But what females are saying is, that they'll be okay with the guy saying, take 5, I'll be back in 20, I need a smoke break. Like, no, that's not reality. That's all I'm saying.
So you don't believe that the women who are saying they're okay with the break really mean it? And my other question for you, Bill?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, and I'll let the women speak to that. But my other question for you is this. What are your thoughts about his reason for fleeing? And not his reason meaning, oh, I need them to calm down, but his reason being, this is what I know. And this is my mechanism, my tool that I use when I'm in uncomfortable situations. Because they also demonstrated on that stage him fleeing when she was really getting on him and making him hear what she was saying. And as he became uncomfortable, he wanted to deflect. And that was just another form of him fleeing. So that's literally what the man does. And he demonstrated that for everyone.
Over and over again.
So
okay, the word that word fleeing, right? I know Bowie will understand this. Criminals flee from the scene because they're guilty. If you come at somebody and they are wrong for what they did, they're going to flee. They're going to stand down. They're going to cower because they're wrong. Normally, I gotta use the word normally, it's men, we're gonna, except for me, of course, normally it's men being wrong. So they're gonna flee. But what if the tables was turned now? Honestly speaking. Now, what if the man came to the woman and the woman was wrong about something? Normally, as Jay said, is normally the woman that's always hyper, that's jumping. She the one gonna start the argument. If a man come, talk to his girl or his wife about something she did wrong, he's coming talking. And then when when her volume go up, the man volume goes up. Now it becomes an argument. I've never seen a woman come to a man when her man, okay, she called her man cheating. She ain't come to talk, she come to argue. Automatically, a man gonna go into a defensive stance. And hence they use the word fleeing. He's guilty. He's gonna flee.
I think what's missing in all of this is how committed am I to this relationship? Because if I'm not interested in this relationship, I'm going to run. I'm going to ignore you. I'm going to berate you. I'm going to do everything except have a conversation with you, whether we classify that conversation as an argument or not. I think I took a nap on them because they were a little too much for me. But I think she missed where was the maturity in the relationship as well. Because what she was showing with Nick Cannon is immature, but the women he's dating know that he's a resource to them. So of course they're gonna wait for him to come back. They're gonna have a different attitude when he comes back to the situation. And that's his way of like, look, I know you need me, so I'm gonna take this break so you can get yourself together so you can realize you need these resources or you won't be able to live this life that you want or not. And I think we got to really look at his situation, his status, his resources to really have that conversations versus the normal person and the unicorns on the call as well. And big shout outs to Toya. Good to see you. It's been a minute. Miss you.
Is it wrong of him to play a position where he using his resources to get what he wants?
Again, that goes back to what is the commitment of this relationship. If I'm just here for sex, I'll put you through hell and high water. But if I'm here to have a life with you, make you the one, I'm gonna come at you and approach you and treat you different. I'm not gonna entertain these arguing sessions with you. And the fleeing part, yeah, you can step away for a while. Usually I would recommend staying in the house, walking away for about 30 minutes and coming back. Fleeing, leaving for a day or so. Yeah, no. My grandmother always taught us you never let the sun set on an argument. So I don't know.
I agree with Terry with the fleeing thing. I think that makes it derogatory in a way. I also think you can't have a conversation when people are arguing. I think separating is a good idea, but I don't think he's wrong for. I think that speaks to the fact of what they were saying about high and low vibration. If he's resourceful and he's using that to his advantage, I don't see anything really wrong with it. I think that it's in the female's best interest to, for lack of better terms, to be dealing with a guy on her level where his resources isn't going to give him that ability to be able to dictate, all right, when you come back, you're going to have a change of mind. I think that I don't think he's wrong for playing that card.
Justin, I like your point on asking as far as is he using, what does he use? Does he use that in his wheelhouse to use the women? But you heard him say that, I'll wine and dine you, I'll fly you out, I'll do X, Y, and Z, I'll be whatever that woman needs for that moment. So then my question is, but why? What are you getting out of it? Because you can get ass is ass. At the end of the day, it is what it is. There's a hole there that's empty for you where you get this fulfillment for a moment in time versus bunkering in and investing yourself within someone. Now, to go back to Jay. Jay, do you think I'm the fleer or the must stay and talk about it girl? Which one am I?
You lost me at ass is ass, but I vehemently disagree. But keep going. Keep going.
Do you think that I'm a fleer in the conversation? Am I the fleer or I'm the no, we need to stay here and talk?
I don't want to be misconstrued as like judgmental or anything, but
no, because you already judged me because you
Ooh.
told me that I wasn't telling the truth. You that means you think I don't speak truth.
She's gonna stay in.
But
She's gonna stay and argue, Jay. I'm gonna answer for you.
I know we
She's
already
gonna stay and
started.
argue.
I know. Yeah,
I
yeah.
got you, homie.
You
I'm
answered
gonna answer
the
for you.
question. She stood up. We got the hands. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what she's doing.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
You are.
I'm
No.
the stay and argue, huh?
We
All
know.
right.
We know.
I
But
used to be a stay and argue person.
But is that always
Honestly.
productive? Has it always been
But
productive?
let me finish.
I'm sorry.
I am a fleer. I had a man tell me I keep my running shoes on because that's what I saw as growing up. When things got hot and heated, my mother deuced. I can't tell you how many elementary schools I went to. That's what I knew. So in the beginning of my relationship, me and my spouse don't argue. And you can't argue alone because I was the bop bop, we gonna have this, and then and in silence, and he's just like, so then eventually being in emotion, as you grow your emotional intelligence and you see and you left with your own thoughts later, you're like, man, there's a better way to get here. There's a better way to communicate and still feel. I'm not gonna just leave. I'd leave, go smoke a black at the QT. That's when I used to smoke. But you know, like I would go. I don't want to talk to you. And matter of fact, when I come back, don't even talk to me. Like but that's who I used to be. Now I don't even, we don't have to argue. Like I've been in a situation where infidelity, and I really kept my mouth closed for a whole week. And when I talked to him about it, it was a conversation. It wasn't no arguing. For what?
So
Because
what
you're
you're
gonna stop
saying? You are
listening to me.
submissive. So you are
Huh?
submissive now. So now you are submissive.
Submissive. Can you give me a definition of submissive for you?
That's very a definition. A woman standing down to her man. A woman playing second fiddle.
I'm none of the above.
Ooh.
I don't stand down, nor do I play second fiddle. However, I allow my person to do his role and his strength wherever those may be, and where he falls short, I may.
You
Of course,
allow.
he allows. He allows
Toya,
me.
Toya, do
Not
you allow
allow
your man to
like.
lead? Do you allow your man to lead?
Of course.
Okay. Then that's a submissive woman.
So you're submissive.
But that why allowing submissive sounds so derogatory? Like
because you're putting that context on it. You're putting that context.
That's why I
on it.
asked.
It's
but
a, it's just a
listen,
word.
No, Terry put that
Modern
context
women have
on.
made it
hold on.
submissive.
See, I'm a big T on that because I asked the young man to give me the definition first before I answer because everyone's thought is different. So the way it was defined to me, second fiddle. Who want what? That's not positive. Do I bow? What? I don't remember what else you said. I'm sorry, but it wasn't. The definition wasn't given.
But I use those words on purpose because that's like the word fleeing. I can use a different set of words, right? I just wanted to see the reaction.
But when I'm asked, second fiddle sounds very different than do you allow your spouse to lead? Yes, I do. Am I second fiddle? Hell no. You understand the difference?
Very much do.
Okay. So no, I'm not second fiddle, but I am submissive.
He can't lead. He don't lead.
We need like an online lie detector test on
What are some other thoughts from y'all? We have a lot of great minds on here, and I want to hear from all of y'all. What are y'all thinking? And thank y'all for those who have shared. I greatly appreciate your participation. Let's keep it rolling.
Why is Nick Cannon? Like, why did you choose that one?
Okay. He's
a clown.
One of my male clients sent me that video, and he said, I came across this video and we must talk about it in our next session. He's like, the way it made me think about things that I have going on with me and things of that nature. He's like, the interaction between the two of them, because believe it or not, that looks sometimes like my therapy room, right? So that's how it was brought to my attention. So after I watched the video, I was like, oh, there is so much in here. And of course, I thought of the greatest minds I know. And I was like, you know what, y'all, we need to have a conversation. And that's how this came to be.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna buy you a lower chair then.
That's not why she said it.
I think it resembles a certain someone on this call who may have just has spoke, but I could be wrong.
No,
I could be wrong.
First of all, the whole joint
I thought it was Jay on that couch.
It was fixed. She purposely
and-
picked the video where you have
and
a
Justin,
female
and guess-
therapist domineering over a male. So the joke was the books are cooked. So
and guess what? And guess what he's gonna do, Justin? He's gonna flee.
And
He's gonna flee.
And your male client is sitting to because he want to be Nick Cannon, would you be Dr. Brian? Yeah, it's got some wild stuff.
No, Jay got a very good point. Now, if that was a male therapist and Nick Cannon, how do you think it would have went?
Conversation wouldn't have happened. They ain't gonna sit down on the couch with a dude and be open with him.
I don't know. He did okay. I watched a few of his, and he has one with Devon. What's Devon's last name?
Devon Graham.
Graham? That doesn't sound right. Is it Franklin? Devon Franklin, thank you. And Devon did well as far as allowing, Nick definitely spoke a lot more than he did with Bryant, but he definitely asked him some really hard questions too. And Nick responded to him. It was very good. That one I also sent out to a few of y'all. But we can only do one at a time. So, and the one with Bryant was, I thought, a little bit more intriguing. So and I like to give y'all stuff to talk about.
I
wanted to start with that one. But Nick has been doing pretty good. I've actually been impressed with the ones that I have seen, knowing who he used to be and who he is working to become seemingly. I give him a lot of credit for sitting on that couch and filming that, knowing the world was going to see it, because she did not hold back. She really did dig into him and really spoke about his behaviors and the why behind his actions and things of that nature. I thought she did a solid job, but I thought he did a really good job allowing it to happen, because he didn't have to. He could have easily said, all right, we're not airing this at all. He could have got up, he could have changed it. He could have did a whole lot of different things, but he sat through it. So I have to give him credit for that.
Amanda, I'd like to ask you about, he's a public figure. We've seen his patterns. Why do women keep choosing to go to him?
Can I let other women answer first?
He's rich.
Before I do. Ladies, what do y'all think about that question?
That part.
Why said, why do women keep choosing him?
Yes.
Well, he pretty much gave you the blueprint. He can be whoever they want him to be. So he will fly them out. He will put on a whole persona that they fall in love with. And then, if you're dealing with a low function woman, which I believe she was correct with that, it's pretty much easy if you're a low vibration woman. I'm sorry. So I think that right there is your answer, because they don't have the self-worth and the tools that they need to attract someone that is high vibration. So all he has to do is put on a front and wine and dine them, and that's where they're at.
How do you differentiate between high value, low value, or not high value, high functioning or low functioning men and the initial state of meeting them?
Time, boundaries.
Y'all not that smart. Just give it a little time.
Time, conversation, boundaries.
Shit, I'm smarter than motherfucker. I can.
You finessing them, Justin? You finessing them? You just don't want to be you?
I could do the same thing Nick's talking about. I know how to present well.
Yeah, but which one brings you more fulfillment in life?
Damn, why she say it again? Say it again. It was a couple people talking. I couldn't. You said which one brings what?
More fulfillment for you.
I have just recently switched from presenting to trying to, figure it out. So, I mean, I think figuring it out and it does feel better. It gives me in the initial, it gives me the feeling like it can go longer or go the distance. But I don't know just yet. I was a presenter majority of my adulthood.
Thank you for that vulnerability.
Yeah, asked to change how you were doing things like presenting, and now changing it up, not presenting, so to speak.
Say it again. You're kind of cutting in and out.
Okay, so what made you choose to try it differently without presenting?
Because I'll be 38 with no kids,
Okay,
and
so
what I'm doing ain't working.
got you.
The key word is time.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you were vibrating at a lower level. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
I got a question for the women. Which one do y'all prefer? Honestly.
That wine and
Which man
dine
do y'all
resource,
prefer?
Nick Cannon.
Absolutely.
I prefer someone to be their authentic self and show me their authentic self, and then over time see how they are. But I mean,
Keep it real.
I think a high vibration man can still have the resources to wine and dine you, you know? So I think it just is a matter of, I want them both. I want, but not a toxic high vibration man, okay? I want a man that's high vibration to wine and dine me as well and fly me on the jet. But I'll take time to figure out who that man is. It's about time and getting to know somebody. And people can put on a front for a long time, you know, but usually some things will show.
So if they're flying you out, you good though, right?
I've never been flown out. I don't need to be. I think that's honestly a red flag. If somebody's trying to fly me out somewhere, like, that's a red flag.
So are you going or not?
No, I'm not going.
Okay.
But let me ask this question.
You want to notice the jet?
Let me ask this question. What woman on this call, or just what woman in general, does not like a man who has resources?
Ooh.
Bingo.
I think we like men with resources. However, if I have to choose your resources versus you just being a pompous pig, I'll go for someone else. I've definitely turned down men who make great money. I don't care about that. Armani suits and Louis Vuitton red bottoms. At the end of the day, that's not what I live in Dallas. But that's not what attracts me to a person. I don't look for those materialistic things. The character is what I could never get flown out, and I'm totally okay with that. And I could be offered, and I'm gonna say no.
And that's and right, that's your
perfect answer for the commercial.
And that's I'm going to say, but at the end of the day, nobody wants a broke nigga, right? So I mean, who wants somebody who can't do anything for them? I mean, let's just be completely honest. He could be the nicest guy, the sweetest guy in the world, but if he's working at freaking what do y'all have out there? Whataburger. What are you doing? You're not going home with that man. If he's working at McDonald's, you're not going home.
But you have other women
you're going to say he is not on your level, correct?
But he's not. He's not on your caliber yet, right?
But he's the greatest guy. He's the greatest guy.
But you're right. Like, so if somebody can be a great guy, but they have bad credit, they don't know how to pay their bills, they're not moving up in career wise, right? Not saying they got to be like on the fast track, but just saying that where are your goals? Where are your financial goals? Where are you in life, as well as that connection, right? That human emotional connection that we can vibe on, like both of those. Not a man that's working at Whataburger or In-N-Out.
So what you're saying, so let me get this right. I didn't mean to cut you off, Destiny, but let me get this right. So this man could be working at Whataburger. He can have a 750 credit score, trying to get his life together and get right to be the man that he wants to be. Maybe he wants to start a business, whatever it is per se. But just because he's at that level, you're not going to deal with him. So you're saying that you are at a level now at your age of, I'm not going to say your age, but at 40 plus that, if he, we're the same age, dear. We're the same age. But I'm just going to say, but you're saying that he's at this age now, that you're at this age now, that if he ain't bringing nothing to the table from a resource standpoint, you're not dealing with him. But he could be the greatest guy with the highest credit.
Though. But you didn't give all the extra background, like the background.
But let's say he has that. Let's
No,
say he
I
has
said
that.
you said Whataburger. Now, if you're talking about a man who has a plan, that's something different. You got a plan, baby. I can work with a plan. We can go places, and I see you doing things according to your plan, right?
So
That's totally different than the man just working at Whataburger content, right? We on two different levels right there. But you got a plan?
So let me
I'm
ask.
good.
So most people start with somebody from the ground up and they build it from the ground up. Just like my wife built it with me from the ground up. So let's just say you're at your age and you're in your 40s now and you run into a guy who is trying to holler at you. Let's just say you were a single woman, right? I want other ladies on this call to interject in this as well. So let's just say you're at your age now in your 40s, you're established, you have money, you're doing well for yourself. Are you going to honestly listen to a guy who is working at a fast food establishment, a guy who is a janitor, a guy who is working at the airport like Cole from Martin? Are you going to actually honestly listen to somebody like that? Are you? You're not.
It depends, Richard. It depends. Because if you're telling me this man had a career, things went south, maybe he got a divorce, he had to start over, he had a medical condition, something like that, but he has a plan and he's working on his plan, that's one thing. But if you tell me this man has been at Whataburger for 20 plus years, he's employee of the month, and that's just where he's gonna be, that's different.
But you won't.
Hey, Jay.
You won't think he might be ambitious. If you don't give him a chance, or at least that first date, how do you know what his plan is? And you only give him that first date, so you never even know what his capacity really is.
Jay, let Jalen answer what she think about that question.
Say again?
Let Jalen answer that question.
Wait, what is the question again? Would I go out with him?
Yeah.
No.
Why?
Because I want to be with somebody that inspires me. I want them to be in a position that makes me want to be better. If you're working at a fast food restaurant, that shows me that you're not in the position that I want to be in, if that makes sense.
But everybody has to start somewhere, correct?
Right.
Why is he starting at this late age?
Your dad did not start with his foundation that he has now. He didn't start with flipping houses. He didn't start with credit facts. He didn't start with any of that. But let's say he per se worked at that restaurant.
But I was always.
I think Bowie, that's the catch right there, Bowie, is the age difference.
Right.
It's the age difference. Because now if somebody is 40 plus, as you say, working there, they're gonna be looked at differently if that person was 25 working there. We all up there in age now, so we're looking for that equal in age.
I'm not sure
Right.
about
Yeah. Somebody's looking for somebody who is
She's been hanging around
established.
us too long.
Somebody's looking for an establishment.
Too long. That's all it is. She's been hanging around us too long. That's all.
Yeah.
Her brain too big.
Way too big.
So I think Jalen made a really good point as far as wanting to be with someone who's going to inspire her. And it is, right? We want to be with somebody who's going to lift us up and pull us closer to our goals versus somebody who's going to be added weight or someone who's going to drag you down to a level that you work very hard to rise above. So I think that goes back to that whole high functioning, low functioning, right? I felt what LaToya said. When you're walking, into an establishment and you might have, people might look or you can tell somebody is trying to talk to you, but I think it feels different with the frequency piece because you can just tell when somebody is, most of the time, I don't like absolutes. So most of the time I feel like you can kind of tell if somebody's on your level or not. And I think they know. Now, it doesn't mean they're not going to shoot their shot, but you got to make a decision as far as, do you have, number one, time to be wasting? Do you want to play this game? Are you in a charitable mood? Like there's a whole lot of things you might want to ask yourself before you decide to dive into that situation. But number one, what frequency are they on? And are they on your level?
Charity mood? What if you got enough resources for both of us? I don't need to have this high functioning job or anything. Us men, we take women from fast food restaurants all the time, even less than that.
Yeah.
So I think women have to shift in this modern world we're in today. If you find a man that meets all your needs other than resources, that might be a good dude you need to take home. He might work at Whataburger, but your schedule's so busy, y'all have kids. He got to be the one to, be the primary parent. You still out there making the big bucks.
And Damien, I don't think resources is the only category that you have to be looking at, right? Let's say that he doesn't have all the resources, but is this an individual that will be able to intellectually stimulate you, right? Is that going to be an individual who is going to be able to meet all your needs? Might even be a push, but even the majority resources, I feel personally, is a very small portion of it, especially in today's age, because you have so many women out here who have this very independent lifestyle, and they've been on their own long enough that they're secure. They have all the resources that they need, and they are just looking for that companionship. But companionship is holistic in the sense of, are you on my level? Can we actually have a conversation and I'm going to grow from that conversation? Or am I always going to be teaching you?
Yo, but you gotta take me on that date to find out.
I have to take you on that date to find out.
Exactly.
And
You gotta talk to that person to find out.
Exactly. And I think this is where, you know, and I'm playing devil's advocate here. I think this is to a point that we run into where us as Black men, or Black men who are single, they run into this standpoint where you have women who actually are established, they have things, and now we're running into masculine women.
Bingo.
Yeah.
These are the masculine women who say, I got my own, I can do my own, I can do my own thing, I can go on my own vacation, I can do this. I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for every woman on this call right now, that they can do all these things that a man can actually do for them. But a man is not, especially Black men, they are not looking for a woman to be masculine. They're looking for a woman to be feminine, I'm not going to say to know their role, but they're looking for a woman to be able to, and not to say play second fiddle, but they're looking for a woman to be submissive, one who is going to get behind them and lead and allow them to lead them in the direction, one who is not going to confront them with confrontation at every single angle of or every decision that they want to make.
So you said all the women, hold on, you said all the women on this call are independent and can handle their own.
Right, absolutely.
And all the women on this call are also very feminine and have no problem interacting and engaging with a masculine man. I think another issue that we find is, what is your word, Jalen? Sassy? Is that the word? Right?
A lot of men these days are sassy.
Say it again, Jalen. Say it louder for the people in the back.
A lot of men these days are so sassy.
So I think that's the issue, is the lack of masculinity that women are running into whenever they're out meeting these men.
I heard this.
Dr. Bryant.
Say what?
Dr. Bryant, that's her name?
Yes.
She's single?
She said that she didn't have children, and she said she wasn't married.
Okay.
Not met her, so I can't answer.
That part.
She also said she was out there looking for high frequency men. She did.
And she'll die alone with her cats.
But hold on. On one end, you say you want us to not want you for resources. On the other end, you say you want to give the resources and do all the things. So which one is it? Like, I'm confused.
Who said we don't want to be wanted for resources? I want to be wanted for wanted.
Look, I'm all about 50-50 in my house, so it is what it is.
Repeat what you said, Destiny. I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
On one end, it's like, okay, don't just want to be with me for my resources. But on the other end, it's like, but then you're too masculine because you can do everything for yourself and you're not willing to wait for me to do things for you or allow me to do these things for you. So which one is it? Want you for your resources or not?
Want me for my resources.
It's transactional. So if you give resources, get resources, transactional, everybody wins, game over.
So I want to understand this sassy thing. Because I was called that when I was up there, because they said I was Jay. That's what I was told. So please explain this.
Overly emotionally intelligent men.
No, that is not that.
Okay, I'll take that.
Jalen, what's sassy?
I like it. I
like it too.
I'm gonna popcorn Amari.
Oh shit.
Go, Amari.
What? Sassy? It's when a guy acts very feminine. Like my dad. He's one sassy.
Wow.
Well, but when is it when a man is acting feminine? Is it when he has an expression of himself? He's emotionally intelligent, that he can express himself?
No.
I think that is very challenging for the younger generation. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't know, because I'm in my I'm in my
Right.
40s, right?
It
But I
threw me
think
for a
that's
loop.
challenging because when a man has a comeback or he expresses himself in a manner, he is now looked at as being sassy. Is that being sassy because he is not following in accordance to what that woman wants him to follow in?
I think this is a young thing. It's gotta be. I was through for a loop when I heard it. So
Is that what they called back in the days when a guy was metrosexual? That's what that
That's
means?
very similar to it. Yes, Terry.
Yes.
I would have to be able to
Okay.
listen to him. Yeah.
Because I ain't never heard sassy before. I ain't never heard
yeah.
that one.
Hey, Terry, me either, man. Until I heard that.
Where's Alani?
Well, Lonnie said.
Where's Alani at?
Yeah, that's who said it.
Wait, can you guys repeat the question?
What's a sassy?
Oh my, okay, yeah, I agree with what JD and Amari said, like someone who acts very feminine. I think they might be more feminine than their spouses at times. And that causes a lot of conflict in relationships.
What? That's because his pants too tight. His pants is too tight.
I don't wear tight pants.
So you ain't sassy then?
No, but my niece called me sassy. She threw that at me and said I was Uncle Jay.
Yeah, he was acting sassy. He had his legs crossed. I'm surprised you didn't have your nails done.
Oh, think of a Kappa. They like to be pretty. They like to be pampered. They like to dress a certain way. They like to be on fleek.
What's wrong with that?
Some...
What's wrong with a man taking care of himself?
Exactly. So with that being said, I will be considered a sassy man because I wear custom clothing. I voice my opinion. So I'm a sassy nigga.
I saw your daughter's face. She agreed.
I'm not saying anything.
That's a new one to me. I'm stuck on that one there.
Yeah.
I got YouTube it.
Got to keep up with these young cats lingo.
But also it defines a lot of dudes who grow up in single family homes that have very little male representation in their life, and they pick up a lot of characteristics from their mother, expressions, behaviors and stuff. And that also is considered in the sassy corner of it, not the gay side of it necessarily, but just that you have more feminine qualities. You're a softer person, you like softer things, and the way you express yourself.
But I thought a man expressing himself was good.
Keyword, how you express yourself.
So didn't we just talk about how men don't want women to be masculine, but now you're saying it's okay for men to be feminine?
I didn't say it's okay. It comes down to the individual person of what they want. But you are in an area where men aren't working hard labor jobs as much. So you're not getting that traditional role of masculine that women fantasize on as they're growing up in this princess era where they want a Prince Charming.
So is it wrong that we as men learn to use our heads to make money instead of our bodies? So I'm not coming home in the dirty construction boots with the hard hat, coming to the house to my what's for dinner. Instead of I'm coming home in a suit. I'm trying to find the difference.
That's not sassy, that's sexy. Come home in a suit. Do you?
I come home alone, man. I come home alone.
I'm talking.
I can give an example of a sassy man. So a sassy man I'm a little younger, so I can kind of attest to what a sassy man is. But basically, let's say you have a conversation with the man that you're talking to, and you say, I would love you, give me flowers. And the response is, well, you never give me flowers. That's a sassy man. Because I can give you flowers. Yes, I can give you flowers, but why is that a topic of discussion when I say, those are the things that I like as a woman?
So I hear that as sassy, but then I always question, well, what are you doing for your man so that he feels loved and appreciated too, other than sex?
Ooh.
And that right there is the response. That right there would be the response of a sassy man. That I'm not saying you're specifically the sassy man, but that is a great example, and I'm glad that you said that. That's what I'm talking about.
But that's not sassy. It's actually a conversation.
Take it home, baby.
It's like so. I just asked real quick. I just asked you for flowers, and you said, "Well, what else are you giving besides sex?"
But that's a legitimate question that men typically
No, it's
ask when
not.
women call them sassy.
How are flowers and sex equal? I asked about flowers, and you're saying, well, what else are you giving besides sex? That's sassy.
Okay, so
that's what they're talking about.
So what kind of response do you expect a man to say when you say, "I like flowers"? Like, what do you want to hear after that? Okay.
Yeah, shut up and do it. I want to hear. Shut up and do it.
Yes, I'm telling you.
How about flowers?
I'm verbally telling you what I like as a woman, and you're telling me, well, what else can you do? Well,
no.
I mean, I can do a lot. However, you're trying to get to know me, and I'm just telling you that those are things that I like. You can take a note as a man, and you can do it later. I'm not demanding it right then and there, but those are something that you can put in your pocket and give later. Just as if you were to say something, I would take it as what you have said, and I'll give it to you later.
And Caleb, what I'm saying back is the man is saying back to you, what you're considering sassy, is more about your relationship. What are you all doing to each other? Have y'all talked about your love languages? Do you like gifts and stuff? Does he like gifts? Because if he says that back to you, that means you're missing something that he wants as well. And you are verbally expressing you're not getting it. And he's coming off sassy saying, well, I ain't getting it either. That's basically what that conversation is. It's more than you just labeling it as sassy.
Well, it is a sassy response from a man, very much so. That was
I hear you, but it's more to it. And usually that's where the conversation stops because women are like, ooh, you just sassy, versus being mature and be like, okay, I hear what you're saying. Tell me more about that.
But
and that's where I think this whole conversation with Nick
but
Cannon is talking about.
That's an image.
Because we're both communicating, but you're not communicating everything that you're saying. So clearly you already had a problem prior to me saying that. But I'm expressing, because I expressed it first, I'm to blame? No.
I don't think there's a blaming that's happening at all. It's something is going on in your relationship that needs to be explored.
No, there is a blaming that's happening because basically you're saying, well, you're not doing enough for me. Like that response has so much passive aggressiveness under it. So there is a blaming without blaming.
Well, if you got to ask, y'all aren't in a relationship. So you know that
She didn't ask for flowers.
Oh, now we're talking about we're not in a relationship. We're talking about simple things such as flowers. But now you're saying, well, we're not in a relationship anyway. So that's the avoidance that we were talking about earlier, too. Let me bring that up as well.
I don't think that's avoiding at all.
I don't know. Don't get me started because I can go back and forth. But
you sure can. And this is why relationships today don't go anywhere because people don't communicate. We go back and forth.
It's the communication. It's the communication.
We're saying the same thing.
No, but you're not listening. You're responding. The communication, we're talking about communication. You're not communicating. You're listening to, you're not responding. You're not listening, you're responding.
Okay, so you say, okay, your words was getting to know somebody. You telling him you like flowers, and then I come back and say, I like jewelry. That's okay?
It's sassy.
That specifically, it's kind of passive aggressive, actually. If you want to label it, it's very passive aggressive because I didn't come to you with any ill intent when I said, hey, I like flowers. Those are things that I would appreciate, whatever the case may be. You came to me and you said, oh, well, I like this. Okay, cool. Okay. But I mean, that wasn't really the topic at hand. Yes, no. I appreciate you sharing that. But it comes off as very passive aggressive because I didn't come to you just because I wanted to I didn't want you to just say anything. I want you to just listen to me.
Okay, so let me hear you tell me you want flowers or you like flowers. And let me see if my response is good enough for you.
Okay, I'll let you know. So I like flowers.
What kind of flowers do you like?
I love roses. I love the pink ones and the red ones, and I also love the white ones.
Do you know those got meanings to them?
Oh, please. What are the meanings?
Let's look it up together.
Okay, we can do that. See, and you're also teaching me something, so I appreciate that.
Okay.
He's
So
actually
I wasn't sassy. So that's
deflecting.
not sassy then.
No, it's not sassy. It's appropriate, and it's kind of respectful to engage in that conversation. You're actually getting to know that person on top of you're teaching them, and then she's actually receiving something more than just flowers too, and that's how you communicate.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna play Nick Cannon. We had the same conversation, right? And I twisted it, and now we end up talking about me. That's how that happens. I gave you something. Now I'm gonna turn it on to me, and that's where it goes back and forth. That same conversation, we could have it.
Do it. How are you going to turn it back to you?
Yeah, because I'm curious.
Come on, man. Don't do this to me right now.
Go ahead and do it, Terry.
Toxic Terry.
anyway.
We have to see Toxic Terry. Come on, Toxic Terry.
Yeah, I was going to ask you anyway. So.
No, I'm saying it's very simple in that life. Okay, I said, okay, we're gonna look at it together. And what would your next response would be?
Did I answer that, or you want me to reiterate what I said, or answer it freshly?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get back in that zone again.
Okay, go ahead.
We could look up the meaning of the flowers together.
Okay, that's fine. Where do you typically get flowers, or is it something new for you?
Oh, I normally go pick them out at this particular place. You want to come with me?
Of course, I love seeing new places and seeing, where you like to get flowers.
Oh, so let's meet at such and such place, and then we can start looking at the flowers together, and we could go through the meanings. Now I got you on a date.
Right.
In my comfort
on top of
zone.
getting me flowers.
Well, no, I ain't even gonna buy you flowers. No, I ain't even gonna buy you flowers. We gonna go through the meaning. But now you in my comfort zone. You in my area of the world.
Okay, and that's fine. I'm essentially in my comfort zone as well because I like flowers. I never said I never went to a flower shop.
No, but that's
I
what
like
I'm saying.
flowers
So
because
now,
I'm exposed to flowers.
right. So now we in a flower shop that I picked where I'm comfortable at. And next thing you know, from flowers, we're gonna go to lunch at my restaurant. Now I'm in control. That's how it turns that fast.
It's not in control. That's what people want. I mean, you're honestly doing a good job, but you're trying to prove a point when it's not being proven. The point is you're actually hitting all of the love languages because I asked that one question. So thank you. You're doing something.
Don't trust me.
I get what you're saying, Taylor. I get what you're saying. And in my marriage, my wife came to me and told me something she liked, I wouldn't follow up with something that I like because I don't want to set a tone that when we communicate, whatever she says, I suffocate it with something that I'm bringing up. So even if
a
I
tit for tat is not healthy.
Yeah, I will wait and I'll put mine on hold and make sure I acknowledge whatever she's saying. And even if I have to wait a day or two, I'm okay with that. Because again, I'm not trying to set a tone. Because when I bring up something, I don't want them to get suffocated when I say, look, do you realize you do this? I don't want her to say, do you realize you do that? Like, because then we're not getting anywhere. So I want to set a healthy tone that when she comes to me, I'm going to acknowledge it. Whether I want something too, I don't care. I'm more about, okay, what tone am I setting when it comes to communication? I don't know if it's sassy or not, but as far as having healthy communication, I will wait and acknowledge what they're saying first.
And that's the word right there, communication. That's the word.
That and acknowledgement.
And what is our motivation? Right?
That make me want to go find a wife. That make me want to go find a wife right now.
Yeah.
Go find a wife.
Yeah, right.
Just make sure you teach her the meaning of flowers, of the different colors in the flowers.
I ain't teaching her nothing. She better come ready. Ain't that what y'all said? I don't want nobody at McDonald's. Y'all don't want me because I work at where? Burger King? I don't want nobody that work at the flower shop. Come ready. All because the age we at. That's the only reason why. Because if we was all 28 still or 24, we have no problem growing with that person. We
I'm
truly
28.
do.
That's a lie.
No, I'm 22 actually. I don't know about 28. I'm 22.
No, I'm 28. I'm not set. Y'all had mentioned it earlier. Like, essentially, I feel like there's always this stigma where like Black women have to settle too. We don't have to settle. I think Bowie had said it earlier. With everyone on here is established. I'm very established for my age, and if that person is not adding on to anything that I already have built for myself, why am I engaged? It's like it's not like I have to engage with that person on a romantic level. I can be friends with that person, but I think Jalen has said it too. I don't want somebody that is essentially not on my level, because what am I gaining from that person? I also have a child. I don't want to feel as though I'm having to raise a child, but also build that person up as well. I'm a team team person or whatever, but I also don't want to be in a position where I'm building a man and raising a child when I'm already doing everything that I need to do for myself and my child.
Very true. That goes to, I'm gonna go into basketball. Some people can't tell me who was the star point guard for the Lakers when Kobe won the chip. He brought his team up. And if you're in a position to bring that love of your life up, wouldn't you want to bring him up?
No, she wants to remain in a woman's role and allow the man to match her energy or bring them up together.
Yeah, soft woman era. That's what the kids say these days. Soft woman era. That's what I'm in.
But I think quite naturally, when you are with someone, that you're gonna have strengths and weaknesses, and you're both iron sharpens iron. It's gonna happen, regardless. I mean, I'm not 40, but I don't. If I were single and in my 40s, and I'm at Whataburger, he got a cute smile. Mind you, my friend did, as a single woman, work as a manager at Whataburger and bought her first home. So Whataburger be bringing in that bank. They open 24/7, 365 days a week. But would I give him my number? Ooh, he's 40, I'm 40, he the boss. I mean, I might entertain a little bit, maybe social media. I might go that far. I'll give you my social media. Like, but I don't ever look at Black men and where they're at in a whole. My Black men, no matter where you at, whether I'm getting my car washed, you detailing my car or making my food, like I give you props where you at. And wherever I can help you, even if it's not a relationship, in his mind, he thinking, yo, me and Shorty, whatever. But once we get to talking, he realize, oh, she trying to be my mama or my auntie. Like, she's just trying to help me out. So I don't think we just always in it to win it in that way. You naturally help each other out as you get to develop your relationship, no matter what level it is. Healthy one.
LaToya, why is it always a struggle for women when the help is needed in the resource category?
Did you need help in the beginning, the middle, or the end of the relationship? Like,
all
where the help
parts.
come in at?
All parts.
As a woman with children, right? It's hard to meet a man and he already be down. My car don't work. Yo, yeah, I got a boot on my tire type situation, but all right, his car don't work, he got a boot on his tire, whatever. But that man says, however, I'm taking a bus, you know what I'm saying? And I picked up 3 shifts because I know I can get out of this. Oh, wow. He hustling and getting it on his own to get to where he wants to go. So yes, I do kind of got a red flag, but I'm still kind of there with you because everybody hits a hard time. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt that you're not a bum. But maybe
That's
like
fair.
next month, you know what I'm saying, you hit a hard patch again, and now you ask me for some money. Nah, I ain't gonna be able to do it, bro. Like, because who did you talk to before me, and what's your history and what's your game plan? They don't got no credit checks on brothers, so I don't know. I can't call Keisha and say, "Girl, how'd it go?" I got to go off of his word. So I don't know. I don't think we have a hard time in the resource department necessarily. It's just when it comes up, where it comes up in the relationship. Because I've definitely given money to men, and I'm not married to them. And I never got it back, and I didn't want it back. So
that's one extreme. Let's bring it up. They're stable. They're making $50,000 a year. Let's say they got a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom place. Like, they're good. But you're coming into the situation, they're not really making that 6 figures that people are talking. What's wrong with that person whose life is good and they're making $50,000 to $70,000? And if y'all come together, you know, you cut down half of your rent, he cuts half down to his rent or half your mortgage, and y'all are good.
Yeah.
Why is that such a hard conversation in the Black community?
I can't speak for the Black community, Damon, but maybe pick a different girl. I don't know. Because that's not me. Like, I literally have gone 50-50 in my relationships for a long time. And then one day I woke up and I said, hey, bro, like, I can do this by myself. So what's up? Because I know that you have the skill and the ability. That's different. If you have the tools and you're just not using those tools that Heavenly Father has given you, and I'm here as your woman, and I'm like, hey, babe, like, what do you think of this? Are you willing to do this? And then that man's motivated to go do it, then it's amazing how an outside person who comes to you with love can develop you. So maybe it's not the right woman, because I don't think it's anything wrong with a 50, 70K a year man.
All right. We have been at this for a little while, so I want to start bringing it to a close, but we have not heard from Rob, Khalil, Miss Keisha, Denise. I think we've heard from everyone else. So do y'all want to share anything before we close out?
I just wanted to quickly ask, if we have a boot on our car and our car doesn't work, why are we dating? Like, we should not be doing it at all. And also, I thought it was very interesting in the conversation about how it seemed that Dr. Bryant was, like, this is going way back to the beginning. Dr. Bryant was somehow culpable for Nick's posture. I always say I'm not intimidating. Maybe you are intimidated. There's a difference there. And I just thought that was interesting. Like, it read and was perceived by multiple people that it was somehow her fault that he was uncomfortable. So I just thought that was interesting.
I love that point. Love it. Does anyone want to give any feedback to that?
It was her fault. 100%. She's a bully. She's a bully. We bullied him emotionally and physically. And y'all allowed it. That's why this video was picked. I'm picking the next video.
Sounds like somebody's feelings were a little hurt. Did you identify with Nick J? Just a little bit? Just a little bit?
I want to help my man. I want to jump in and help him. I want to jump in and help.
Oh my goodness.
He probably was uncomfortable because his pants didn't fit.
So let me ask you a question. Why does she keep touching? Why does she keep touching his thigh?
He was showing it.
She was comforting him.
He was showing it.
To the therapist on here, do you touch your client's thighs, Destiny? Just asking. Bobby's not on. I'm just saying, she was very intentional with everything she did.
Yes,
100%. But I still believe he beat afterwards. Still believe.
Anything else?
Also, if I could add, we spoke a lot about resources and what men have. I just wanted to state that it sounded like we were talking with the assumption that all rich men are generous, and they are not. You can have a lot of resources and not give it to anybody. I also know generous people that are not rich.
I agree.
Goofies.
Great point.
I think his unresolved issues that he had been running from all these years, I think it showed up when he faced someone to talk to him and to call him out. So that's why he was squirming. When I was looking at him, I was surprised because I seen him talk in different facets where he was real mature. He talked about he put gold bars away for reserve just in case stuff happened. And I'm like, that's dope. So to see him, to me, I was looking at a kid. And so I was shocked by it, but that's that unresolved stuff that stuck in there that he never dealt with. So he just met someone that was very, very mature that he couldn't escape out. He's used to escaping. And with her, no matter what he tried to come up with, she wasn't going to go for it. So he just got some work to do.
And Kiwanis, I love how you identified that because you did see a child. You saw his adaptive child really showing up in that moment. And it's interesting to see because it matches. A lot of you commented on the squirming that was happening. That was children typically do whenever they're under pressure. And his adaptive child was showing up very loudly in that video. What about
I'm proud of him though. Like that was tough. And then you aired it. Like he could have never aired that. And so that shows like him willing to grow and learn from that. And to let people pick apart, like that's a tough place to be.
I got a question. Do you think he staged that? Because he is a good actor. You think he staged that? Just so this
Well,
would be happening?
the executive producer of the show.
Any girl he meets, who he wants. So do you think his ratings go up or down after he comes out vulnerable? I'll wait.
Oh no, it 100% I'm sure went up, but I don't believe it was staged. I don't. Just because of the way he kind of showed up in that moment. Like he truly was uncomfortable. Now he may have said it's worth it because in my rating, and not I don't think he's suffering right now as far as ratings anyway. He has some really good people on that show and he has a lot of really good topics. But the way he was showing up, I don't think it was staged. That's my
that was his show.
That's his council culture.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you, Khalil? You unmuted. What do you want to share?
Oh, that was by accident. No, I would just say I couldn't watch it because it was kind of cringy to me. He was just so dominated by her. And I've seen him in like other people said, I've seen him in situations where he's very confident. Like you see him on Wild 'N Out, he's confident with everybody. He's kind of dominant on that show, but it was hard to watch. It was very cringy, almost.
Thank you. What about you, Keisha? You want to share anything?
Ooh, sorry, I was
Say
trying to get
this.
off mute. But I kind of agree with Khalil as far as like the dominance. I personally feel like if you were leaving a conversation and you plan on returning, it's not necessarily fleeing. I also feel like I think he was trying to get that point across to her, and she wasn't necessarily listening to him. And I think he recognized that no matter what he said or how he said it, she wasn't going to agree with him. So it might have come off that he was trying to flee that conversation as well. I personally think he just didn't want to argue with her. And that was it. He just didn't want to argue with her. He just let her have it. Towards the end of it, when he was trying to wrap up the conversation, he just let her have it. But I don't think he really ultimately agreed with her.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I don't think she listened because she didn't have to. She was the alpha, you know?
Yeah.
So she dominated him.
And he recognized that kind of early on. So he kind of just like let her have it because he's
Exactly.
not, he already said he's not the type to argue. So.
But I've seen him argue before though. And this, like he got a history, like they said, I mean, I remember a story of him being left in New York and they said, they told him to get out the limousine. They didn't want them to ride with him or something like that. And he just left. They made him walk home or something like that. And it was just, kind of remind me of that story.
So he probably just doesn't want to argue with a woman. That's probably what it is.
He did the
Especially
same
on
thing
that
with rappers, though.
platform.
But he did the same thing with rappers, though, is what I'm saying. Like he did it like at a studio session, and they made him walk home. You know. So.
And I'm not sure if Rob is there or not. Rob, if you're there, you want to oh, you're kidding me.
I'll just say this. I kind of have a different take on his comfort level. I think a person on his platform, he has research assistants, people of that nature. I think you don't get in the ring with somebody or play an opponent without knowing kind of what you're getting into. I think he wanted to stretch himself a little bit. I think once he got in there, he wanted to delve deeper. He didn't want to run from it, but there was a level of uncomfortability, but I think that he was willing to engage with her. And I think it was good. I think it was I think he wants to show accountability, and they talked about some good things, not necessarily just using that word accountable, but knowing what that looks like, what that action plan is. So I thought it was a good, informative interview. Made me think about some things myself. But
yeah.
As a fleer myself, it is. I think it's funny you said that. We tapped into it a little bit at the men's retreat. I forgot the word that she said. Me and Khalil, or she said I was, but
avoider.
Avoider.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a different play on it. But yeah, I thought it was an informative interview overall. I got some good takeaways there, but yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you. So this was awesome, y'all. There was a lot we didn't touch on. I thought for sure we'd have the conversation about accountability because I know that's a favorite for some of the gentlemen that are on here. So I have a list of some things that we can continue this conversation with in the future if y'all would like. We didn't touch too much on accountability. We didn't touch too much on the topic of feelings versus emotions. She had made the statement, words don't teach, experience does. I thought that was interesting. And she also made a really strong point about control. And I thought Jay was going to fall out his chair whenever she was speaking about control. So that's definitely something I feel like we need to touch on. And she made the statement and said, control is an illusion. And we can tear that one apart. So there was a lot in that video, but I thought tonight was amazing. And I think we have a good group here together. Like I said, all of you are brilliant. You always all have something to offer, and I appreciate you doing that this evening. So I'm going to keep this list and we'll talk offline and figure out if y'all are interested in doing this again. We'll do this again. I think it's just something to keep us intellectually stimulated. It's important for us to be able to do that and just have some fun and some banter. So